On this podcast, we talk about the books, both old and new, that are worth putting on your to-be-read list. I'll include the back cover synopsis, content warnings, as well as my pro and con list. To avoid any spoilers, head over to my Instagram at enjoylifewithme.angela. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these books. Let's jump in for the day. Hi guys, it's Angela with Enjoy Life with Me, and today I get to talk with Emily, and she is the author of "'Tis Wedding Season" that I talked about a lot last month when it came out. So we're going to let her just kind of start by telling us how she became an author today. All right, Emily, tell us all about it.
Well, I actually started writing when I was 12, but then I kind of did it on and off until the beginning of 2021, and then I took it seriously, and I've been writing ever since. So it's not like a super big elaborate story, it's rather simple.
Was it because you were home with COVID in 2021? Is that kind of what pushed you?
Actually, what actually started it was I began watching Bonanza again. I grew up watching Bonanza, and I watched it again, and then I had the story idea, and I was like, oh, I'll write this. And I did. I actually finished the very first thing ever, and then I started writing more of those little fan fiction stories, and then that merged into Before It's Too Late, which was I actually started that when I was 17, but then quit because it wasn't going the way I wanted. So I restarted that, and then I published that one. And then I've been going ever since.
So it wasn't like someone's like, you really need to, write, share this after they've read it. It was just something you decided to do.
Yes.
Okay. Because my husband has been writing a book for a while now, and I'm like, you need to publish this. And so I just, need to know how to convince him to do that. So you just decided on your own, no coercion from others.
I always wanted to be an author when I was a kid. I've always been a reader.
Okay.
As long as I could read, I've been reading.
So it was your favorite subject growing up?
Yeah.
Okay.
That reading and history were my favorite subjects growing up, so it just kind of merged into that.
Right, because your Half Circle Creek is more historical, right?
Yes, it's 1860s. It's in Western, so yeah.
Right. Okay. So "'Tis Wedding Season" is a contemporary rom-com, so it's kind of different than what you've been writing. Is there a reason you switched genres?
I like to bounce around, but it's not the first genre switch I've ever done. I have other books coming this year that are different genres, but "'Tis Wedding Season" was mainly, I started reading rom-coms because I mainly read only historical fiction as a kid and through my teens, so then I started reading rom-coms once I joined Bookstagram, and then I was like, I really like this. And actually what really inspired me to write "'Tis Wedding Season" was Legends of Avalon by Rachel Lee Scott. Her book character is actually based off herself, and that really inspired me, and that's why I decided to write Shaylee, who's basically me in book form. So it was really fun.
Well, I loved it because I was the same. I didn't really read rom-coms until I got older and joined Bookstagram and stuff. So that makes sense. I read historicals too. But I also felt like Shaylee was very much me. I saw a lot of myself in her.
Basically the extroverted version of myself. I'm not as outgoing as she is, but her sarcasm and different things like that, it's all me.
Well, I felt the clumsiness was me. I was falling off a ladder. Yep, that's exactly what I would have done. Okay, so that makes sense. So you wanted to be an author. You just finally found the time to do it.
Yep.
And you said you're going into different genres. Can you tell us what genres you're?
Well, I have another historical western coming, which is the first one. I think you actually beta read it. When We Run with Wes and Ebony. I think.
I haven't beta read anything because I know I'm not very good at that. English honestly isn't a strong suit for me. I enjoy reading, but making sure it all makes sense, that's not my strong suit.
That's the western is in my second release. I haven't announced the title yet, but it's a contemporary romance. It's not a rom-com. It has some funny moments to it, but it's more just contemporary. And then I'm actually not sure how to market it, but it's it's 1870, but it's more it reminds me of the Little House on the Prairie pilot episode. They're building a little log cabin, and then there's it's a lot of fun. But I'm kind of calling it frontier romance. I'm not entirely sure if that's the right term or not, but it's late 1870s. Well, actually 1870, but St. Louis, Missouri area.
Ooh, that one will be fun.
Yeah, it's a really
I loved Little House growing up. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to write.
Okay, well that's exciting. I'm excited for that now. So you have based Shaylee on yourself, are you basing like your other characters on people you know? Or is it just kind of like a composite of different characteristics?
They're all different. I've never based anyone off someone I've known. Shaylee's the very first time I've ever done that. But like there's little attributes of different things in other characters that remind me of people, but it's never like someone's based off someone.
Right. So it's like if your friend does this one thing, that character might do it.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Well, and so you're self-published, right?
Yes, I'm self-published.
What's the best way for people to like support you?
Well, I do most of my marketing and like reaching out to people and community-wise through Instagram. But like my books are on Kindle Unlimited and paperbacks on Amazon, so like that, I guess is the best way to support me.
Okay.
Is through Instagram and like reading my books on Kindle Unlimited and things like that.
Okay, because I'm not an author, so I don't know. Like, do you guys get actually paid for Kindle Unlimited reads?
Yes, we get paid by page. So if you read the whole book, it's like, I don't know, a little less than $1 or something like that. For each book's different, because each book has different amount of pages.
Okay. All right, so good. Because I'm like, I have Kindle Unlimited, but I was just like,
yeah, we get
if I'm paying for that, do the authors actually get anything from that? Because I was hoping they did. Okay, so paper books and the Kindle Unlimited option on Amazon, and then follow you on Instagram. Okay. And I'll make sure I link your handle on Instagram so everyone can find you. Okay, so sorry, I'm jumping around all over the place. But you said the characters aren't necessarily based on anyone. Is like the Bryford Barn from Tis Wedding Season based on an actual place, or is it just kind of like something you made up?
It is something I made up, but it was inspired by a real place. Like, it's probably like, I don't know, 10 minutes down the road from us, there's a wedding barn. So that was what inspired the Bryford Barn, to have it like as a wedding venue, like a barn one. That was like, I want to write one like that. So that's where it came from.
That would be so cool. I wish there was some around here, but that's not the area I live in. Big city.
I don't live in a big city. It's a really tiny town, so it's just like on the one road in between towns.
Oh, that's awesome. That would be really cool. Because in my head, it looked amazing and beautiful. All right. So, are you going to make Tis Wedding Season into a series, or is it going to stay a standalone?
No, it's just a standalone.
Okay. Because I really like Ryder and Sarah Beth, and that would have been...
Those were two of my favorite people in the book.
Right?
Ryder and Sarah Beth.
Sometimes I feel like the side characters you love them just as much as the main characters. And you're like, now I need a whole book about these people. Did you have how did you come up with the names for your characters? Are they just like names you really like? Or are they like composites of different people?
Well, actually, Sarah Beth is actually named after my aunt. I have an aunt, Sarah Beth. That's where I took that from. And then Trace is actually named after Trace Adkins, the country singer.
Awesome.
And originally, Shaylee's name was actually supposed to be Shania, because I was going to go really cheesy and like name them after country singers. But then I saw Shaylee on something and I really liked that better, so I went with that. And then I don't remember where I got the other names from. It's just something I pulled up off Pinterest or a baby name book or saw on something. I was like, oh, I want to name a character this. So that's how those went.
Okay, well, I loved all of the country music in the book. And I started like adding songs to my playlist as I was reading it through, because I was like, oh, this is great. Oh, this is a good one. I don't have that on there yet. So
there's actually 45. There's actually 45 songs that's in Tis Wedding Season.
That's
throughout
awesome.
there. Yeah.
I know my playlist grew exponentially after reading it, because it was all good songs. I was like, oh, I like that one. Why is that not on my list yet? I have to go add that. So is that what you listen to when you write, or is it like the country music, or
I listen to country music all the time. It's not, I listen to music while I'm writing and reading. I pretty much listen to music all the time. But in the book, I was like, oh, I want to put this song in there, like the scene where after the mopping scene, where when Ryder and Trace are walking outside and he starts singing "Brand New Girlfriend" by I think it's Steve Hawley. Like, I really wanted to stick that song into a book, so that's how I figured it out. I was like, I'm gonna stick it in there and have Ryder sing it really about it, because that song is really hilarious and just really fun 90s country music.
Right. That was great. No, that mopping scene was, I think that one lived in my head for a week afterwards. Every time I'd get the mop out, I was like, oh, I remember that one scene.
That was one of the first scenes I actually came up with for the book. That one and the first kiss scene were like the two things that really stuck in my head. And I was like, oh, I want to form a story out of this. So those two things were the
So
original.
you just have like a journal that you're like, oh, I like this scene, oh, I like this scene, and then as you go, it like forms a story?
Well, I kind of like, I'll have things pop in my head and then I'll write down some of them. I have like a notebook and like a Google Docs document, and I like write down the story ideas. Most of the time I just kind of collect them in my head, and then I'll make a list of everything and then form that list into an outline and all that.
Okay. Because I know like they say that there's two types of writers, like the people that plot everything out, and then like the people that just like, let's see where it goes.
Yeah, I plot everything out. I can't do it without an outline. I get lost.
Right, that would be my thing. I'm like, it wouldn't make sense by the end of the second chapter. Yeah. No one had a clue to what was happening. Okay. And I really appreciated like at the beginning of yours how you had like the content warning. Is all of your books have that?
No, just this one. But I'm going to start putting them in all of them. So the Pastor Creek doesn't have any, but from now on there's going to be content warnings at the beginning.
I really like that because I mean I always feel like I have to like read reviews to like figure out what's going to happen in this book. Like, am I going to be able to read this or is it going to traumatize me? So I thought that was brilliant because I've never seen it before, and I was like, oh my goodness, like they actually just did all the work for you.
Yeah, certain authors put them in there, and I was like, that's where I got it from. I was like, oh, I see these people doing it, I want to do it too now. So that's why I started doing that.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant. I'm glad you're doing that. I'm glad other people are doing that. I think everyone needs to get on board with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long does it take you to like plot things out? Like, because you said you started some of them at 17.
Yeah, so those story ideas I just had like written down in a notebook, and then I went back and I was like, oh, I want to write this now. But typically, it all depends on how focused I am on the story. It's like sometimes I can get it, like this idea is written down like within a few hours, but then typically it takes me a few days to get the whole thing outlined because I do scenes and like character backstories and what the character looks like and different things like that. And I go into Pinterest and find aesthetic pictures and faces and things like that. So it typically takes me a few days, sometimes a week, to fully plot out a whole story.
Okay. Yeah, well, I remember when you were doing Trace and Shaylee's, you had like their Instagram profiles, getting to know them, and I was like, that was so unique. I've never seen stuff like that before. That was really fun.
I actually made those before I ever wrote the story, so like when in the scenes where they're actually looking at Instagram, that's the actual profiles they're looking at, the ones that I posted.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I didn't realize that, but that's really fun.
It was a lot of fun to do that.
Yeah, so you do all your marketing like that,
yes,
like all those creative things are
I do
part
all
of
that
your
myself.
writing time. Man, you must be really busy because you said you had like 3 other books coming this year.
Yeah, I have actually technically 4, but I'm not allowed to say anything about the 4th one because it's top secret.
We just know it's out there.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's really exciting. All right, well, is there anything like you want to share about like the Tis Wedding season or your other series, your Half Circle Creek series?
Love all of them.
Right?
I love it for everyone to read them.
Yes. Well, and I will make sure I share as much as I can because I loved Tis Wedding season. I have your other series downloaded, they're just not read yet. Because I get halfway through a series and I'm like, I can't stop mid-series. So I'm like, I have to finish the series and then do the next one.
Half Circle Creek, they're basically standalones, so you can read. You don't have to read them in order or anything like that to get them.
Okay.
So yeah, it's about 3 different couples. So there's obviously things that are like referenced to the past books, but they're all standalones, different couples.
Okay, I didn't realize that. But that's cool that they're. I like that because I'm like, sometimes you pick up a book and you don't realize it's in the series, and you start reading and you're like a chapter or 2 in, you're like, am I supposed to know who this is? Because it's referencing like someone from the previous book.
Yeah, they're about 3 different people, 3 different couples. So.
All right, well that's awesome. After this next series, I'll have to start that one. That'll be fun.
And thank you for having me.